Hello guys, so as you probably may know, I just recently hit 10,000 subscribers, so I am super excited about this. So I'm having a little bit of a celebration with my friends Shoop the Troll, so go ahead and say hi, Shoop. Let's see, where's that button? Oh, it's over here, I think. That's how, well, I guess that's how he says hi. And also I have Stinky the Elephant with me. And he's not going to partake in the festivities because he ate a lot of peanuts earlier, so he's full. And they're frankly taking up too much space on the table, so I'm going to throw him over here. Sorry, guys. But it's not about them, it's about you guys. So once again, I just really want to thank you guys for subscribing, supporting the channel by watching the content. I always love hearing your feedback, whether it be positive or negative. And let me tell you, when I first started this channel, I never did so under the impression that it would lead to anything big. I mean, I guess 10,000 subscribers isn't really that big by a YouTube channel, but it's certainly bigger than anything I thought I would ever achieve. And I'll tell you, YouTube for me is a hobby, and it's still a hobby. It will probably never be a main source of income for me unless I have millions of subscribers. So I'm not motivated by money, but I just find this a fun hobby, talking about these subjects, because I think they're interesting. I think it challenges my mind to do research on these subjects. And I'm not going to just be stuffing my face the whole time. I am going to also answer some of the questions I frequently get. Now, I do have a paper that has some questions that were chosen for me. My girlfriend just randomly chose some questions, and I requested that she did that so I wouldn't risk cherry picking questions that I want to answer. So there's a chance I'll get some questions here that may require some thorough research that I may not be able to answer without doing some study. So I apologize in advance if I'm not able to give a very good answer. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of this food. 10,000 subscribers, so this looks like, 10,000 calories? Probably not that many, but you guys are part of me, so I'm going to make this sushi part of me as well. And this is all vegan sushi from a company called Wellness Sushi. And Wellness Sushi, if you're ever in Colorado, what they'll do is that they'll deliver sushi directly to your door so long as you live in Littleton, Denver, or Colorado Springs. And you have to give them a day in advance. It takes a while to prep it. But like I said, it's all 100% vegan. So the fish, the tuna, is actually made from tomatoes. They use vegan mayo. They use a lot of avocado, a lot of plants. Of course, they use seaweed and rice, and the vegan things that are traditionally found in sushi. And I love vegan sushi, and the funny thing is I've never actually had quote-unquote real sushi before, so my only experience with sushi is eating sushi made from plants. I've been a vegan for 17 years, so I can't even remember what meat, fish, or anything tastes like, but if it tastes like it smells, then I'm not too excited about it. So I am going to get to some of the questions, but let me go ahead and just open this drink real quick, because I'm really thirsty. And this is like a cannabis oil infused drink, so if this gets me a little bit stoned, I apologize. I'm pretty sensitive to THC, so we'll see. And, I'll open this one a little bit later. And yeah, it's a beautiful, colorful setup. I bet if Sparage were watching this video, he'd probably say, it's just sugar and anti-nutrients. By the way, if you are watching Sparage, I would love it if you did a response video to one of my videos. Even if you totally trash me, I'll still love you forever if you do that, because it would just be so funny to hear you say those kind of things about me in my video. So please, I'll even pay you if I have to. Please, just make a response video, man, if you're watching. Okay, so anyways, I am going to get to some of the questions, but let me go ahead and open up my chopsticks. And it's funny, the one bad thing that Wellness Sushi did is they forgot to give me chopsticks. So before this video was recorded, I had to go to King Soopers and grab some. And they have a lot of soy sauce in these packages. I'm not a big fan of soy. I don't like adding sodium to my food, not for health reasons necessarily, but it's because, when I put salt on food, it just makes it taste like salt, and I can't really notice the other flavors because sodium salt is just a very strong flavor, so I'm not a huge fan of it. I do, however, love the wasabi, which is just like horseradish with green dye in it as far as I know, and also the ginger they have with it. So right here we have the sweet potato. Actually, let me see. This is like the mock salmon and mahi-mahi, I think, and it's made from sweet potato and tomato. And I'm going to start with the simple avocado roll. So I'm going to go ahead and get some ginger here, and I'll add some wasabi to the other ones, but demonstrating my epic chopstick skills. Very, very good though. And I'm pretty hungry, so I'm going to scarf this down. I like it. I love the avocado because, usually when you order something with avocado from it, from a restaurant, or if they do delivery, it'll usually be a little oxidized. But if you look at this is like a very green avocado. So this is perfect. And I love the seaweed. The seaweed, it tends to have a kind of salty flavor to it without having to add salt to it. So it's just right in my opinion. So let me get a big chunk of wasabi on this guy. Maybe that was too big of a chunk. I like wasabi, you know. I've always had some issues. Sorry, get some drink water. Or not water, cannabis weed tea, I guess you can call it. Now, I've always really liked wasabi. It kind of clears the sinuses a little bit, but it's easy to get too much. I remember when I was in college, I'd actually snort some just to be I was making an ass of myself, and I did it as a dare. And I think I may have permanently damaged my sense of smell. I mean, it's not gone completely, but I tell you, it hasn't ever been exactly the same ever since. So I highly recommend people don't try snorting wasabi. I mean, it may have been something else. And this one right here, it's like it's the spicy tuna and has avocado and some like spicy vegan mayo on it. So I think it also has like pineapple on it. So it's kind of like a sweet, savory mix. So it's pretty good. And here's these things. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of them, but you know, they're cheap and they're a good source of energy. Just rice wrapped in this like seaweed paper, I think. I think they're called nori. Actually, no, it's not called that. That's the name of seaweed. But anyways, these are kind of like sweet and they're just like taste like sticky rice on the inside. So it's just like kind of a way to get a little extra bulk in my diet. I mean, I'm not eating like vegan sushi every day. Like I said, this is a celebration. So this is like a special event. All this cost me about $130. So it's not an example of cheap vegan eating. I mean, if I went to eat cheap as a vegan, I'd probably just like buy like oats, rice, potatoes, starchy foods, like vegetables that are high in calories, grains, those kind of things. And usually those make up my staple diet. So this is a luxury, of course. Let me go and try this guy. These things you can see even at gas stations, but this one tastes considerably better than they usually do. All right. So I don't want to take too long eating these guys just because, you know, if I get full too quickly, I may not be able to finish. And there's a chance I may not be able to finish all this because there's just a lot of food. So, and I think it's only fair I start responding to questions. So let me go and take a look at this. All right, so for the first question. Why don't you respond to the message I sent you on Instagram, you asshole? All right, I'm sorry about that. I don't actually have an Instagram account. The Instagram account you're probably thinking of is called White Wolf Kevin. I don't run that. I don't even have the password to it. That's actually, my girlfriend runs it. And she's more into social media than I am. So if we're like out in public or like, you know, out like at like some fancy restaurant, or if she or I cook a fancy meal, she'll be like, oh, can I post this and put this on the Instagram account I made about you? And I'm like, okay, sure. So, you know, I do try to make an effort to respond to questions. So if you don't see a response, it's not because I think like what you're asking me isn't important. I mean, maybe every once in a while I'll get like a troll question, I'll ignore it. But I try to answer as many questions as possible. So if I don't answer a question, it's probably because I was just too busy to be on the computer, or I'm playing too many video games or something like that, or I'm at work. So don't take it personally, and I try to get respond to as many questions as possible. But Instagram is something I'm not on. So if you're trying to ask me a question on Instagram, I probably won't see it because, you know, I don't even like access the account. I never go on it. And it's like I said, it's my girlfriend's account that she made about me. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat some more food here. All right. And let me tell you, it is hot. I'm actually in this room right here is in my basement. I don't have air conditioning in my house. I want to get it installed. It's gonna be very expensive because this is a pretty old property, and so it's not very modern. I might love it though because I'm in the countryside. I'm surrounded by nature, and you know, I don't like living in the city. I used to live in Louisville, Kentucky, and I remember like, you know, on a Wednesday afternoon, like people would drive by like blasting their music with their boom cars, and it'd be so loud it'd actually shake my damn window. So I'm happy to be free from that. I'm happy to like go outside, see deer, see trees. You know, I have my own vegetable garden, and I think that's resourceful, and it's also a good way to like kind of reduce some of the collateral damage that comes with agriculture. So I feel it's ecologically good for the environment, and it also is just kind of rewarding to grow your own food too. So I like the location where I live, even if it is kind of an old building that needs to be modernized. But that's why I may look a little shiny, a little sweaty right now, just because it's kind of hot in here. But at least I have a couple cold drinks with me. Really good. Now, these ones I'm the most afraid of. These are the crab rolls, and they're made from seitan. And for those who don't know what seitan is a wheat meat. I mean, it's made from gluten actually. So I imagine like yoga moms who shop at Whole Foods would probably be scared to death of this because, you know, everybody has a fucking gluten sensitivity these days. But it's really tasty, and, you know, I don't know if it tastes like crab because I don't know what crab tastes like. I don't, you know, I'm from a landlocked state, so even before I was a vegan, I didn't like the idea of consuming seafood because, you know, I knew it wasn't going to be fresh. So I'm not sure how it tastes, but if it tastes like this, then it tastes pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and actually get a little wasabi on this one. All right. Very good, very good. And this is the vegan tuna I told you about. Made for tomatoes. It's kind of like a sun-dried tomato that has a little bit more moisture into it. So somewhere halfway between like a regular tomato and a sun-dried tomato. And it tastes really good. The sauce on it, the vegan mayo, has a nice kick to it. I've had this one before because I order from Wellness Sushi fairly frequently. I mean, it's kind of a special occasion kind of thing. But it's pretty good. I just don't like to add salt to my food. So all these Ketoconazole soy sauce packets, I'll have to donate them to charity or something. Alright, so these questions are kind of strategic because, like, while I let some of the food sit, I'm going to go ahead and answer some more questions. So let's go on to the next question. What do you think about copper peptides for hair loss? That's a good question. I was actually thinking about creating a video about that. So copper peptides, I was actually using copper peptides after my first and second hair transplant. And I can't say for sure whether or not they sped up hair growth, but it sure seemed to seem like it. But what they really did and what they're known for is that they speed up wound healing. So when you get a hair transplant, it's very traumatizing to the hair follicle. They'll go through like a prolonged telogen and catagen phase. So they'll just be in a resting state for a long time, and you may actually get some initial shock hair loss. And it's not permanent. I mean, it will come back. But for some people, you may not get the full benefits of a hair transplant until like a year, 10 months to a year. So I think it took about 10 months to a year both times. The second one was a little bit harder to recover from the first one. But the copper peptide spray, it really helped reduce some of the redness, swelling, and inflammation. So I think it's really, really good for wound healing. And, you know, it may speed up hair growth. That's something I'll have to do a little bit more research on. But what I know it's also good for is that it's good for skin health, apparently, because I know scientifically it's been shown to speed up collagen production. So it may have a benefit to the skin that's similar to certain retinoids like tretinoin or Tazorac. And, you know, I already use those as part of my skincare routines. You know, they can dry out the skin if you use really large quantities of them, but they tend to improve skin exfoliation and they give the skin just a good, nice, clear complexion. They're also very good for acne too. And I'm a long sufferer of acne. So the fact that I have a pretty clear face is testament to the fact that the treatments work. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff this down. This is one of the lighter ones. This is just like seaweed in the middle of it and the rice, so it's a little bit easier to eat. I'm really neglecting this wasabi here. I should not puss out on this. You know? So let me get this little chunk right here. Actually, it's a very big chunk. Very big chunk. Oh, crap. Yeah, it's like... Damn it. All right. A little bit too much that time. One thing I wish they had at Wellness Sushi that I've had at other places that sell sushi that have vegan options is natto. Now, natto is like, okay, it's soybeans, but with soybeans, you also have tempeh, which is a fermented soybean, and natto is super fermented soybean. It's like, it tastes like refuse. It tastes absolutely horrible, but that's what makes it kind of fun to eat. It's like an adventurous food. So it's almost like it gives you like a spike of adrenaline, like you're about to do something really risky, like skydive or like, you know, go mountain climbing without a belt. It kind of really spikes your adrenaline. It kind of gives you a feeling like you get when you're about to do like a new PR at the gym or something. So I wish they served that here just so I can try it. I mean, you guys would probably laugh if you saw my reaction. I mean, it's hard for me to hold it into my stomach, but the challenge is what makes it rewarding. So it's not a delicious food, but it's a rewarding food because it makes you feel like a badass when you eat it. So let's go ahead and try some of this basic avocado. Oh, this is the sweet potato roll. And they use like, I don't know if you can see it, but they use like Japanese yams or just purple sweet potatoes. And, you know, the purple sweet potatoes is a sign of like a high polyphenol content. So it's probably good for just my overall health. But they're also very filling, which may not be a good thing because I don't have a lot of food here. But they're also tasty. I mean, I just love potatoes. I eat potatoes every day. They're just starches. I mean, I think they fuel my workouts. Like if I have a high-fat diet, if I eat like a lot of like oils, coconuts, if I eat a lot of avocados, even though I love avocados, and that's the bulk of my diet or calories throughout the day, then I feel I can't perform as well. So I really like to eat foods like rice, potatoes, carbohydrate-rich foods, things like that. So let's see how this goes. Again, that's really good. So let me go and take a few more of these guys. This is like some imitation eel, and I think it's eggplant. It tastes really good. And you know, again, I don't know what eel tastes like, but I'm gonna try to take 2 of these at a time. Really good. It's a good thing I got 2 of these drinks, because there's no way I'm gonna be able to finish. I mean, there's no way this 1 can would be enough fluids for all this. So let me work on this a little bit more. This isn't going to be easy, I'll tell you. It's going to be pretty challenging. But, of course, I have my questions. I can periodically answer them, let it sit for a little while. Take a little break from stuff in my face. So, let's go for question number 3. Can I mix Demoxity with Minoxidil or other compounds? Yes, you can. One thing I should note about Demoxity, though, is that the studies behind it show that it's not effective unless it's mixed with, unless you use at least 3 milliliters. So if you are mixing compounds, make sure you use at least 3 milliliters of Demoxidine in order to get the benefits of Demoxidine, because I don't think there's any evidence that shows that like microdosing Demoxidine will give you very good benefits. And also Demoxidine is already a pretty weak growth stimulant as it is. And minoxidil, I mean, it takes a little longer to dry if you're using like a liquid minoxidil you buy like from the just over the counter. So it has a slightly different texture, but you absolutely can mix the 2. I've done it before, and it's you know, it's fine. I don't do it anymore at the moment. Right now, I'm not using Demoxidine. I may use it again because you know it's a decent hair growth stimulant. But for the moment, I'm just using like finasteride, minoxidil, alpha-estradiol, and I'm also using Fluoridol right now occasionally. I'm not using RU5-1 on my research subjects, much to their joy. Okay, so let me go ahead and shove my face more. You know, I'm probably starting to sweat a little bit. You know, my digestive system's going to overdrive, so it's getting pretty tough. Man, this is really hard. But I'm gonna try my best, because I don't want to be a pussy. So I'm gonna keep on eating this. And you know, it's funny, I think that these ones with the avocado on them, I can't tell which is worse as far as filling me up quickly. It's avocado, it's pretty fatty, so it contributes a lot to satiety. But at the same time, like these ones have like fried bits on them, and you know, I don't do well with fried. It's like tempura or something, and I don't do too well with fried food just because it just fills me up really quickly. So, and I mean, I'm gonna try to do this. I can't make any promises though, so I'm really sorry if people are disappointing if my binge eating skills are not up to their expectation. But let me go and take a few more sushi rolls, and then I will go ahead and answer some more questions. Oh man. No. Starting to feel a little bit tired. It might have something to do with the CBD in this, the cannabis oil or whatever it is. In this crap, it's like 20 milligrams. I mean, I don't know anything about drugs. I don't know if that's a lot. Or it could just be because, you know, I'm eating a lot of food, so it's filling me up. So my digestive system is just kind of slowing me down a little bit. But let me give it a little bit of a break. Let's go ahead and answer another question. You seem like a smart guy, so you probably know humans did not evolve eating just plants. Have you considered doing a carnivore or a partial carnivore diet? No, I've never considered doing a carnivore diet or a partial carnivore diet, or even going back to an omnivorous diet. And you know, I don't like to talk about veganism that much, not just because it's like personal to me, but you know, my reasons for being vegan wouldn't seem rational or reasonable to most people, so I don't think I'd make a very good vegan activist. Like, you know, a lot of people who are vegan will say they're vegan for ethical reasons, and you know, that's the only thing that drives me. I am a vegan strictly for ethical reasons. Like, a lot of vegans will say they're ethical vegans, but at the same time, it's really, really good for your health. Now, I haven't been shown anything that convinces me that veganism is bad for my health. I mean, I know you have to take some supplements in order to have like a nutritionally balanced vegan diet, and I don't care about that because, you know, we're not living in the goddamn Stone Age. But at the same time, even if I were shown some definitive proof that veganism is actually worse for your health, I would still be vegan, because just emotionally, I don't have what it takes to hurt an animal. I don't have what it takes to hurt like a cow, a chicken, a pig, fish, or anything like that. Because, I know they're not as smart as us. They don't have as much cognition as we do, but they're innocent. They didn't do anything to me. And I just don't have it in me to hurt something, even if it is to my own benefit, whether it be a health benefit, a hedonistic benefit. And, I have a long history of depression. I've been on antidepressants, never had any good reactions to them. And, I remember I've been to, I don't want to say who it is. It's just, it hits really close to home, but there's someone I know who I would go to the slaughterhouse with, and I'd see the look of fear in the pig's eyes. And, I remember one of them even licked my hand once, and I know they can't speak our tongue, but if they actually could speak, what I imagine they'd be saying to us is they'd be saying, mercy, please give me mercy. Please don't kill me. Please, I'll do anything. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. And being vegan, I feel, is the smallest bit of mercy I can give to those animals. And I would not take that away, even if it meant improving my health. So, I'm not one to judge other people for their decisions, but I think if people want to know why I'm a vegan, it's important I explain the reason why. That's not judging anyone else. If people want to tell me the carnivore diet is good for them, they love it, then that's fine. Although, my honest opinion about the carnivore diet is that, I think that there are some people who are on the carnivore diet who are on it with the notion that it is a healthy diet. But I think a lot of people who are carnivores are just following it to troll, or they're promoting it to troll, because I've noticed that a lot of people who follow the carnivore diet have a real disdain for vegans. And I feel that by being on the carnivore diet, that's the best way to stick it to them, because veganism has erroneously been associated with liberalism, even though there are a lot of conservative vegans. Like Corey McCarthy, for example, is a conservative vegan. And people will think that since veganism is associated with liberalism, I have to hate it if I'm not a liberal. So I think that a lot of people go carnivore just to stick it to the vegan libs as they see it. So that's why I've noticed on subreddits, as well as 4chan and right-wing social media platforms like Gab, the carnivore diet is really popular. And if you look at most carnivore YouTubers, not all of them express their political views, but the few that do typically hold conservative views. And I don't like to politicize these things, but I just feel that a lot of people think the growing popularity of veganism is a threat to their traditional values and their traditional diet. And diet's a very personal thing for people. So I think the carnivore diet is kind of like a reactionary movement against veganism. It kind of reminds me of when AOC was talking about the Green New Deal. I remember some people were protesting it, and the way they were protesting it is they weren't speaking out against any of the flaws in it or anything. There may very well be flaws. I haven't looked at it, but what they were doing is that they were installing exhaust pipes on their car that caused them to pollute more, burn more fossil fuels somehow, and shoot out more carbon monoxide. And they were doing that just to say, haha, look how much I'm polluting. Fuck you. Fuck the environment. Fuck environmentalism. That kind of thing. Or it's people I know who smoke cigarettes, or actually who smoke cigarettes, and they see people who are anti-smoking, and they'll say, look how much I'm smoking, huh? You like that? Look, I'm gonna smoke a whole pack. And it's just a way to I think it's just a reaction. It's a defense mechanism, if anything. And like I said, I don't think that's the reason why everybody is a carnivore, but I do think in earnest that a lot of people who are carnivore just to troll vegans. And I don't let it get to me. I don't care. People can do whatever the hell they want. I gave up long ago on trying to convert other people. I know I can only control myself. And frankly, I'm not interested in controlling other people, because I feel that if somebody were to go vegan, but not on their own accord, it wouldn't be with sincerity. So that's why I like to let people come to their own decisions about things. So anyways, let's get back to the eating, shall we? All right. I'm already not looking forward to this. So I'm going to stick with this tuna one, because this tuna one's a little smaller. Man. I'm going to be made fun of if I can't finish this, but I'm going to try my best. This is a lot of food. Let me tell you, lots of food. Probably ordered a little bit too much. Really good, though. I mean, if I have to eat a lot of food, it's good that it's helpful that it at least tastes good. This is funny. Look at the size of this wasabi ball. This is like the size of a baseball almost. I mean, can you imagine what it would be like if I ate this all at once? I mean, I'm not going to do it, because I'll probably hurt myself if I do it, but I imagine when I was younger and I took a lot more risk and I was stupider, I probably would have done something like that, but I'm going to let it just go ahead and sit there. I'll use some of it, but let me get some fluid in me. My tongue's a little dry. Oh, man, I'm getting really full, but that's not going to stop me. Just got to keep on eating until I pop, you know? All right. Let's go on to the next question. What did I think about the Last of Us 2? All right, The Last of Us 2, for those who aren't gamers, it's a really high production value game that was released by Naughty Dog. And Naughty Dog, they're known to develop like really graphically impressive games for the PS4, like Uncharted, and also they developed for previous consoles, like they created the original Crash Bandicoot. And I remember they even created like an obscure fighting game called Way of the Warrior for the 3DO, and it was utter crap. It was like a Mortal Kombat ripoff. I imagine very few people have played it, but I was one of the people who actually owned a 3DO, a Panasonic 3DO back in the day. But anyways, The Last of Us 2 is their latest game, and my thoughts on it is that it was okay. I mean, I thought it was more like a walking simulator. It was a walking simulator with occasional stealth shooting segments. And the shooting segments weren't that good. I mean, you're very limited in ammo, which I guess is kind of the idea. So it's kind of like a survival game. And it has like a crafting system, which is very just run-of-the-mill. I mean, it's nothing you haven't seen before. And the stealth is pretty good. I like the stealth, except the stealth kills take a little bit too long to execute, although there's an upgrade you can get to make them faster. And I mean, the storyline is okay, but it's kind of like your run-of-the-mill zombie apocalypse, except the zombies are called clickers here. And the reason why they're zombies is because of the cordyceps fungus evolving to not just infect insects, but also infect humans as well. And that seems like a pretty dramatic jump to go from arthropods to mammals. So, I mean, that seems a little incredulous, but at the same time, you know, it's a little suspension of disbelief is fine. And the characters are all well acted, well portrayed, and the graphics, like I said, are really good. The music's good. So it's a very glossy, shiny game, but I didn't like it that much simply because it just felt like it was trying to be more like a movie than a game. So it was okay. All right. Let's keep going, shall we? Oh my God. You know, I gotta be honest, I'm probably not gonna be able to finish this, so I think I bit off more than I can chew, literally. So I'm sorry if anybody was expecting me to demonstrate my amazing vegan sushi eating skills. You know, maybe if I had starved myself for a week, I'd be better. I mean, I'll still eat, I'll do as much as I can, but I'm just telling you, I'm probably not gonna be able to finish this, so sorry about that. But, you know, we'll still hang out for a little bit, we'll eat what I can, and I'll still answer some more questions, but let me go ahead and scarf down a couple of these guys. These ones with mayo in them are really tasty. You know, I don't even like mayo, because like when I think of mayo, I think of like raw eggs and vinegar, because I think that's what mayo is, but vegan mayo obviously doesn't have eggs in it. So, I mean, eggs are just, the idea of eggs are really, really disgusting to me, because, you know, they're basically just the menstrual cycle of a hen. So I really have to like disconnect myself from like what mayo really is. And it's easy to do that when you're eating vegan mayo, since like it doesn't have eggs in it. Man, this is good though, really good. I mean, these ones are good. They have like vegan cream cheese in them. They also have like cucumber and avocado. And again, the avocado is perfect. You know, I at least want to finish the avocado ones, because the fuck, I almost choked on that one. But anyways, the avocado is like perfect right now. So I feel if I save for later, it'll oxidize, and that'll just be a tragic shame of biblical proportions, because this is like a perfect avocado here. So let me just eat this. All right. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. How is it you managed to turn every squat into a good morning? That's not very nice. Okay, I actually can explain that. So the way it works is that it has a lot to do with my morphology rather than my technique. So it's not conditional to the amount of weight I'm lifting. I mean, maybe that influences it a little bit. But the thing is that when you squat, and if you see me squat, I squat with a full range of motion. I mean, I squat until my hamstrings touch my calves, and I do that all the time. And that's because for a while, I was just worried about am I squatting deep enough? Am I squatting deep enough? And I hated having to worry about that. So I just said, screw it. I'm just going to squat until I can't squat down any further. And it's easier for me, and I know I'm getting a better range of motion. It feels more rewarding. I get a much better workout doing it that way. And the thing is that it's basically based on the shape of my hip, because when I actually flex my hips, and I can actually show you guys real quick. Let me go ahead and just turn this camera, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, good. So if you see what I'm doing here, I'm doing hip flexion, and my toes are pointed straight ahead, so I'm not I'm not abducting my hip at all. So if you see what happens, actually I have a bit of a butt wink, and that's because my femur will literally bang against my ilium, and it'll cause my pelvis to tilt posteriorly. So if I do full hip flexion, my back is going to round inevitably. Now I can mitigate this a little bit by doing a wider stance, but if I do a really wide stance, then I can't squat with a full range of motion anymore. And I always like squatting with a full range of motion. So I will have a stance where my toes are spread apart so I can push my knees out, and my heels will be just slightly outside of my hips, and I'll squat down as deep as I can, and I'll get a full range of motion, but it's inevitable that I'll have a little bit of a butt wink. And if you look at even the way some Olympic weightlifters squat, even they have a bit of a butt wink. But because of that, when I squat with a full range of motion, I can't really extend my back that much at the bottom of the hole, so I can't begin the movement with back extensions. It's like only move like a couple inches because my pelvis is already tilted, and that causes like a kinetic effect where basically my whole spine rounds to an extent. Even my thoracic spine will have like 8 to 12 degrees of flexion. And so in order to actually start extending my back, I have to extend my hips first, so that causes my hips to shoot up. And when my hips shoot up, my torso will be a little bit more horizontal. And if I'm doing something like a Zercher squat especially, which is anteriorly loaded, it's inevitable, especially when I'm doing like 400 pounds, that's going to pull me forward a little bit. And that's just how I've always squatted. It's never been an issue for me. And let's go ahead and get back to the food. And it's never been an issue to me. And when I've tried to not do it, it actually makes my squat weaker and worse. And I found that as a result of having done it for so many years, I feel that my spine is actually more stable when it's in a state of partial flexion. I mean, after all, we have spinal flexors on the front of on our anterior core. So I feel that by activating my my spinal flexors just a little bit, I can actually maintain better stability and better spinal posture. And if I try to extend dramatically, then I'm just weaker during the squat. I have a greater chance of failing. So it works really well for me. I know it's not going to work well for everybody, but not every single human being has the same anthropometry. So I'm doing what works best for me. I'm not actually doing these movements saying this is how you have to do it. I mean, there's no universal way everybody needs to squat. I mean, everybody should try to squat to the best of their ability. But for some individuals, a little bit of spinal flexion, the bar dumping them forward a little bit, it's not a big deal, especially when they've been squatting for a long time. And if you look at someone like Pete Rubish, and Pete Rubish is like one of the most badass powerlifters in the world. He can deadlift like over 900 pounds. But even he, good mornings to squat, like when he does like his 600 pound plus squats or so, and it dumps him forward, and he doesn't injure himself doing it. It works for him. It's fine. It may not work for everybody, but it works for him. And he's way stronger than me. So don't think I'm comparing myself to him, but we do have similar leverage and similar like length limbs and stuff like that. So that's why we live similarly. So that's why I do it. And I should mention I've never been injured. My back has never been injured. I mean, I've had some overuse injuries, but they weren't related to lifting specifically, but rather just doing like gardening and landscaping around my house in addition to lifting. And I think that just had a cumulative effect of causing bicep tendonitis and problems like that. So it's never been a problem. I can still bench almost in the mid 300s, even on a bad day, 325, 330 pounds. And the most I've ever benched is 340 pounds. I can still squat in the high 300 and the low 400s if I'm doing a Zercher squat. And I can still deadlift 550 pounds. So I'm not the strongest person in the world, but considering that I can lift that weight and I can do it raw and without injury, then I think I must be doing something at least somewhat right. All right, so let's move on to the next question. Actually, you know what? I got to eat more. I haven't forgotten my mission. I know I got to finish this or just reduce it to a quantity that's as small as possible. Otherwise, people will never forgive me. They'll think I'm a failure. And, you know, I don't want to let you guys down because, you know, you guys are great. You were great to me by subscribing. You know, having 10,000 subscribers, that's like a dream come true to me. And, you know, I'm not going to be greedy. I'll be happy if that's like my subscriber count for the rest of my life. But, you know, if it grows even bigger than that, great. So I will try to create more high content quality in the future, quality content in the future, I should say. But, you know, there's no shortage of things to talk about. So I don't want you guys to think I'm running out of ideas. I'm definitely not. And you guys help with that, with like your suggestions. So a lot of times, like if you see a comment that I'm not responding to, it's because I have an idea of actually responding to it in video format, kind of like the diabetes video. That was actually inspired by a question I got in one of my videos. And that's, again, why I emphasize how much I really like your feedback. So anyways, let's eat a little bit. Eat some more. Holy hell. I think I'm almost done with this one. You know, I'm glad I did that hip flexion demonstration because, you know, if I'd done it a little bit later, I would have had like a big food belly. It would have been really embarrassing because of just how much food I'm eating. And yeah. And another thing I want to say about that squat thing is that I can actually mitigate that posterior pelvic tilt if I just reduce my range of motion. But, you know, like I said, there's no way in hell I'm going to do that. I like doing full range of motion with every movement, and I'm not going to let my morphological limitations prevent me from doing a full range of motion on any exercise. I don't care what the price is. So, all right. Oh, man. Oh. I don't know. Maybe this is going to make my hair fall out. If I just keep eating like this, you know, it's going to be so stressful on my body. I'm just going to get telogen effluvium and then just right in front of everybody. My hair is going to fall out, and then, you know, the premise of my channel will be ruined. It won't be a hair loss channel anymore. It's going to be a bald acceptance channel. And then I'll be on like Bald Cafe's channel. I'll talk about like how it was so liberating. It was the best decision I ever made. But if you looked at my face, you'd see that I was actually deep down, I was really sad. And I was trying to hide my misery as much as possible. Nah, it's not really going to happen. And actually, let me tell you something. I don't have a problem with Bald Cafe, the channel. He actually seems like a really cool guy. And it's interesting because when I look at his channel, it's kind of like how I imagine I would be if I long ago had decided, screw it, I'm just going to shave my hair. And even if I shaved my hair, I shaved my head, I would still do my best to make the most of it. So I'd still be committed to a healthy lifestyle. You know, I don't believe in kicking people when they're down. And, you know, I know not everybody responds well to finasteride or wants to use pharmaceuticals for the rest of their life. So I can still respect that. And I just don't like when people like fear monger about these treatments. You know, they like say things that's going to like destroy your life, and, you know, everybody gets side effects, and that their side effects are permanent, when it's been shown that the prolonged side effects are most likely due to a nocebo effect. And you can read about that in the True study, which is a good read. But anyways, let's keep eating. It's probably going to take like all night to upload. You know, I live in rural Colorado, so my internet's really shitty here. So that's why sometimes when I respond to comments, like the text is a little bit jarbled, because like sometimes I'll type something and then something else different will appear, or I won't notice some typos I made. So it's not because I have autism or anything. It's because I don't, by the way. It's because my internet's really slow. All right. Let's open up this new can. More weed beverage. I think it's actually, I mean, it's probably just placebo. It's not really hitting me. I don't know if they'd legally be able to sell the weed beverage even in Colorado, because, you know, marijuana is legal in the state. But I think it has to be either edible or smokable. I don't think it can be sold any other way. Maybe I'm wrong about that. You know, I don't take drugs. I don't take marijuana or anything. You know, whenever I take marijuana, what it does is that it just makes me really hungry. So in light of that, maybe I should be smoking a joint right now. It'd make it easier to finish this meal. But anyways, let's move on to the next question. I love the Dragon Ball Z thumbnail in your finasteride versus topical finasteride video. Are you a Dragon Ball Z fan? Yes, I am definitely a Dragon Ball Z fan. And I like it because it resonates very well with me emotionally, and I think it resonates with its audience emotionally. And like the lights are kind of going crazy up there, so sorry about that sudden shift. It's not a very smart show. I mean, it does have a lot of depth. You can argue it has as much depth as like Lord of the Rings if you look really into it. But you know, it's liberal on the science, which is fine and everything, but it has a lot of heart. And I think it's analogous to a lot of the real world struggles that we face. Because, you know, the premise of Dragon Ball Z, and it gets a little bit repetitive, but I still love it, is that like some big bad guy comes around, and then like by trusting in your friends and training really hard and just believing in yourself and just going the extra mile, you can overcome any obstacle if you just put enough effort into it. And, you know, I know that's kind of blue-pilled and it's not always true, but it has a really good feeling to it. And I like how Dragon Ball Z has also inspired a lot of lifting culture. Like there's a gym I have been to that has like a big like image of like Super Saiyan Goku with like kind of his shirt ripped like during the Frieza saga. And I like it because it's like, it inspires people to lift. Sometimes I'll watch a little bit of Dragon Ball Z before I go to the gym. And I won't say it was part of my childhood. I'm not quite young enough for it to have been part of my childhood, but it was kind of part of my late teens and young adulthood. And I still have a lot of it. I think I have the whole saga of Dragon Ball Z on Blu-ray. It's like you can watch it in Japanese or in English, and I like it all. I also like Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is like kind of the remastered version, and I like Dragon Ball Super as well. Although I haven't gone beyond the Turban to Power arc with Jiren. I know that the manga is going beyond that, and you know, I have read the manga, but I haven't read the Super manga. So I mean, I like the presentation of the anime better, so I'm gonna wait for that. And I know we have another movie coming out soon, so yeah, definitely like Dragon Ball. I think I'll always be a Dragon Ball fan, and you know, I wish Goku or Vegeta could be my training partner, because you know, man, I'd get really epic gains then. All right, let's try to eat one of these guys again. You know, I was really excited when I first started eating, but this isn't fun anymore. This is just like punishment. It's not bad though. I was actually thinking about doing a 10,000 calorie vegan pho challenge. There's this place in Littleton that sells vegan pho, and they have this like bowl that's the equivalent of like 8 largers or something stupid like that. It's like the bowl takes up this entire table, and I mean, if you drink it or eat it all, you get it for free. I mean, that saves you $30, but that's not going to pay for the hospital bills that you likely have to pay afterwards, after it basically causes you to shit out your intestines. So I couldn't even imagine doing that, but I thought about that. But you know, I'm too scared to try that. You know, maybe when I reach 20,000 subscribers, I'll try that. You know, I know if that does somewhat happen, someone's going to remind me, hey, you promised us, don't forget us. We want to see you shit your brains out. All right, so. I'm becoming so shiny, my face is going to be like a mirror soon. So. Alright, so next question. This one pertains to hair loss. So hope you guys were being patient who just want to hear the hair loss stuff, because you know I know that's the main appeal of my channel. But anyways, I know you don't care much for Ketoconazole shampoo, but what are your thoughts on Nizoral cream with 2% ketoconazole? All right, so 2% ketoconazole, it's a antifungal medication. I mean, it's too hepatotoxic to be taken orally, but it's available as a topical in 2 different forms. One is a shampoo. You have 1% Nizoral, 1% ketoconazole, which is Nizoral, and there's also 2% Nizoral, which has 2% ketoconazole in it, and that's a prescription, at least in most countries. And there was like this obscure Japanese study that showed that ketoconazole 2% shampoo used with finasteride was better than using finasteride alone, but it was just one study as far as I know. Maybe there have been a couple other studies, but it was a small sample size as well, so a lot of it could have been just a chance. And you know, it was done on Japanese people, and Japanese people rarely have male pattern baldness to begin with, or if they do, it's not that severe, so that may have been a factor as well. I mean, that's not being racist or anything, that's just true. Like, Japanese people don't lose their hair that often. I mean, if you look at like some of the subway cams, like you'll see all the men and all of them have full heads of hair. I mean, that's why they don't try like wearing hats as often, probably. I mean, I don't know, but But on that subject right there, I mean, I still will occasionally use 1% Nizoral because I think it helps with my dermatitis, and you know, I'll just use it as needed. I don't use it like daily, so like, you know, maybe like once a month I'll use it if I start to get some like redness. But I don't think it helps with hair loss. I mean, dropping it didn't cause me to lose any ground whatsoever. And that being said, though, ketoconazole also is a anti-androgen. It's a weak anti-androgen, but sometimes it's taken orally in very, very small doses for men who are getting like surgery on their penis for whatever reason, and that's to prevent like a spontaneous erection. So it does have some anti-androgenic properties. I do have a friend who uses ketoconazole, 2%, the cream, and he doesn't use finasteride. And I know he's actually had a couple of hair transplants, but he's maintained everything behind his transplant on the hairline using just ketoconazole. I mean, at least for the past several years. I mean, who knows what it'll look like 10 years from now. But it seems that maybe it's helping him, but I don't think I would trust ketoconazole as an anti-androgen, especially not by itself. And I don't think it's really necessary for me to use it in light of the fact that I use so many other things that I know work better and are likely work better, like, you know, finasteride and alpha-estradiol, things like that. So maybe it helps a little bit. I don't know. I think further research will be needed, but I do think the cream would probably work better because, you know, even if the active ingredient does have some benefits, like I say, it doesn't stay on the scalp long enough to really do anything. And, you know, I used to believe in the product. I think I even have an old video where I said, like, it's good, it works, but I think a lot of that was just placebo. Like some of my old content, I just didn't think out as well, and I just didn't know as well as I do now. So I think I'm better informed today than I used to be. But anyways, let's go ahead and eat some more of this crap. Oh, God. It's like my hands are shaking. Maybe I'm diabetic already. Who knows? Oh, man. This stuff's probably going to be like a time bomb. A time bomb like 6 hours from now because of all the fiber. It's just going to go bam. I wonder if it's going to be like a machine gun where there's a boom, 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 or like a shotgun, like bam, all at once. I hope it's a shotgun because that's a little bit easier. But I'll tell you, one thing about being a vegan is that you never really have uncomfortable bowel movements. You know, that's kind of a gross thing to talk about when we're talking about food. Sorry if you guys are eating too, but I'm just being serious here. You eat a lot of fiber, you drink a lot of water, you'll never be constipated. And you may have more bowel movements, but that's fine because, you know, you're getting the shit out of your system faster, which is a good thing. And that's why it's been shown that vegan diets may be good at reversing, or actually not preventing the development of colon cancer. But anyways, you know, this is getting really hard. I may eat a few more bites, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to be able to finish this. So I'm sorry, guys. I was hoping to give you a good show by just eating all this stuff, but, you know, I did my best. I'll train though, damn it. I'll freaking do it. You know, if I can train to do a 315-pound plus bench press, then by God damn it, I can do a eating challenge more effectively than this. So, I mean, I'll get a little bit more, but let it sit for a little bit and let me read some more questions. All right. Do you still think creatine is safe for the hair? Yeah. I mean, maybe it's not, but I haven't seen any strong evidence that suggests it is bad for the hair because, you know, there's this one obscure study with rugby players where it shows that they had like, they were supplemented with like 20 grams, I think, of creatine, and it caused an increase of DHT that was substantial. And it was a pretty small population size. But at the same time, I'm still pretty skeptical of the study because, like I said, it was just one study with a small population size, so it could have just been something I could just dismiss as chance potentially. But also, another thing I want to point out is that if creatine really did raise DHT, then it would cause a lot of the other problems that DHT is known for. Because, you know, like I say, DHT is a trash hormone, has very few physiological roles in the human organism, and we don't suppress it to a large enough degree with drugs like finasteride to cause any problems, at least in most people. So if creatine really did raise DHT like substantially, as the study suggested, then it would cause other health problems. It would cause acne. It would cause enlarged prostate. It would, in addition to hair loss, of course. And I think, and you know, it could even possibly promote the development of prostate cancer because, you know, those are androgen-dependent diseases. So I feel if it really contributed to all those health problems by raising your DHT, then you know, it would have been pulled off the market. You know, a lot of women use creatine as well. So if women were using creatine and it raised their DHT, then you'd see things like facial hair. You'd see like the deepening of the voice and make them sound like Dana Lynn Bailey, that have kind of that raspy voice that female steroid users have, or like Ronda Rousey. And I've never seen any examples of that. And, you know, I've used creatine for a long time, and I don't use it right now because it doesn't really help, but I've used it before. And also, I think another thing I mentioned is that they use 20 grams, and you don't really need to use that much. It's been shown that creatine has ergogenic benefits even when you use as few as 3 grams per day. So that might be the reason why. Maybe it's dose dependent. And, you know, I don't think I've ever used 20 grams. Like maybe once or twice I have, but not for a prolonged period of time. So I think if you're worried, just use a smaller dose. Or, you know, if you're taking finasteride, that certainly would help mitigate some of the problems. Or if you're using a topical anti-androgen, that would help as well. But I am not convinced that creatine causes hair loss. And I wouldn't use it anyway at this point. I think the only thing it does for me is that it lets me handle just a little bit more volume in the gym. It doesn't really do much in the way of strength. Maybe it helps promote strength endurance a little bit so I can maintain the same weight for a longer period of time. But it doesn't help me hit new PRs, or at least I don't think so. And, you know, so creatine doesn't really do squat for me. All right, so before I move on, let me go ahead, keep going. Man, I can't believe I thought I could do this. I'm sorry, guys. I can barely swallow this crap. Oh, this is probably not as bad as the 10,000 calorie vegan thought challenge. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that, but damn it, I'm going to try anyways. All right. So 2 more pieces. Let's answer another question. Let me drink this down. All right. Oh, man. We got a political question. Trump or Biden? Oh, man, I don't know how I'm going to answer this. Let me go ahead and take another piece of sushi, and I'll think about how to answer this, because this is obviously going to be a sensitive subject for a lot of people. All right. Now, at risk of losing half of my subscriber base, you know, I could have like 5,000 subscribers tomorrow because of the way I answer this, but this is sincere, and I figure I might as well just be honest about this because, you know, I don't like when people bullshit. But let me just say this. If Trump gets reelected in 2020, I think we should support him. I think we should hope he wins, hope for the best. And I hope that, and really hope that he makes America great again, or keeps America great, whatever your opinion on that is. I hope he does well, and I don't think we should be rooting for the president to fail, because if the president fails, the nation fails as well. So I think for the sake of unity, we should just accept the results. If Trump wins, we shouldn't cry like a bitch. I know I'm not going to cry like a bitch, and I'll tell you, I will support Donald Trump and hope he succeeds as a president, and I hope he's a good president. I hope he leaves a good, long-lasting legacy if he is reelected. That being said, I am a Democrat. I am a fairly conservative Democrat, but I am still a Democrat. I've voted Democrat like my entire life. I come from like a very strong Democratic family. That's just how I was raised. Like my parents are Democrats, and most of my siblings are Democrats as well. And you know, like I said, I do have some conservative views, like, you know, like namely on gun control and a few other things. But when I think about like really good presidents, at least during my lifetime, I was born in 1981, and I think the best president of my lifetime was probably Bill Clinton. And the reason why Bill Clinton was good, I think, was because he was very boring. Like, things were just normal and boring and status quo. And that's how I prefer things to be, because I don't like to think about politics. I don't want to think about what's going on in Washington all the time. I just want things to get done and be nice and boring. Like Bill Clinton, I feel, obviously being that he was a Democrat, he leaned more to the left than the right. But I don't think he was much of an ideologue. I don't think he deferred to political ideology before making decisions. I thought he just like looked at like problems facing the country, and then he thought, okay, what's the best way to solve this? And also, he did a lot of this with the Republican Congress, because I know Republicans took control of the House and the Senate in 1994, and he still left a lasting impression on the country, not just because he managed to make a blue dress look like it was covered in candle wax, but also because he got a lot of legislation passed with bipartisan support. And, you know, he even won a lot of states that would never go Democratic today. Like he won like Tennessee and Kentucky and Louisiana. Maybe that has something to do with the fact that he's from Arkansas. But, you know, in this political climate, I don't think any Democratic could ever win in a state like Arkansas. But now when I see Joe Biden, I see him as kind of a Bill Clinton style Democrat. So, I mean, I do think he's past his prime. I think he's a little bit like slower than he used to be, but I don't think he's going to run for more than one term. So I think he should have like the mental faculties to handle 4 years as president. And hopefully he does a good job. I mean, if he wins, I'll support him. If Trump wins, I'll support him. But I am voting for Biden. And I mean, I'm sorry if that pisses people off, but that's just... I mean, I don't care that much about politics, but I am going to be voting for Joe Biden in 2020. All right, so actually, yeah, let me go ahead and eat some more crap before I do anything else. I don't know if I can handle much more, guys. All right. That was crude. Sorry about that. Oh, here's a good one. Have you tried higher concentrations of minoxidil, like 10 or 15%? I have. I actually tried Promox, and Promox was actually a topical solution. It was a gel, or it was more like a cream, actually. And it was the doctor who made it, he passed away, so I don't think it's available anymore. But it was 15% minoxidil combined with 0.1% topical finasteride, as well as progesterone, and that's been shown to have like some 5A reductase inhibiting effects. I probably will get into that a little bit more in a future video. But anyways, I was using that, and I wasn't even using oral finasteride at the time. I was just using topical finasteride. But when I switched from that to oral finasteride plus 5% topical finasteride, I didn't lose anything. And I've tried other topical finasteride solutions before. Like Dr. Lee was a doctor who got shut down in the early 2010s, and he sold a 15% minoxidil. And there's also something called like Perfect Hair, I think, that was also 50%. Now, when I used it, I didn't notice any benefits beyond just 5% minoxidil. Although I remember I was told something interesting from the doctor who compounded Promox. He told me that in order for minoxidil to be 15%, it can't be a liquid. It has to be like a cream or a gel. And the other 15% minoxidil solutions I used were liquids. So maybe they weren't quite 15%. But in any case, we know that minoxidil has diminishing returns. So you shouldn't take... So it's possible, maybe even probable, that 15% works a little bit better. But you shouldn't take 15% minoxidil thinking it's going to work 3 times better than 5% minoxidil because of the diminishing returns. So yeah, it's also kind of hard to get your hands on it too, because the FDA tends to crack down on it, because the only FDA approved solutions are 2% minoxidil as well as 5% minoxidil. The 2% is for women, the 5% is for men. Even though women can easily use 5% minoxidil, I mean, it's more effective. I mean, the only concern with women is that if it absorbs systemically, it could cause some like unwanted body hair growth. Like, you know, they could have like hairier arms and stuff like that. I know women don't like that, but you know, not all women are going to get that reaction, especially if they're using a small dose. And furthermore, men can also use 2% minoxidil if they're sensitive to 5% minoxidil for whatever reason. I know some men are, but oh God, you know, what's funny is that this looks really, really good. You know, I was so excited when I saw this, but this looks just disgusting to me right now. This is like eating something out of a dumpster. It's like just so unpalatable. Like the idea of eating food is just such an unappealing, dreadful thought right now. It's like squatting with the Smith machine. I wouldn't want to do it unless I absolutely have to. But you know, here I am. Let's go ahead and keep eating. All right, these things are big too. This is gonna really fill me up. Good. I finished this box at least, right? So not bad. I can barely get this shit down. I am no Matt Stoney, that's for damn sure. I probably really look trashy in this wife beater when I'm all sweaty and I feel like I'm totally defeated. So probably look terrible right now, but let me keep going. Oh man, it was hard to swallow that chunk. All right, so these questions are easier to do than the food, so let me go ahead and Keep going. Where do you hide the bodies in the house? Well, I can show you, but it will be the last thing you ever see. No, I don't hide any bodies in this house. I mean, there's room for it, hypothetically, but no, I'm not, I don't have any murderous intent. I have no desire to hurt other human beings. You know, it wouldn't be vegan to kill other human beings because, you know, vegans, they don't hurt animals. And humans are technically animals, so it wouldn't be vegan for me to kill humans. So no dead bodies here. You don't have to worry about that. All right. Here's another question. I know you said Viagra can help with hair loss. Do you think Levitra and Cialis can help as well? Very likely, because, you know, they are different drugs, but they work in a very similar way. They're all PDE5 inhibitors. And it was found that the PDE5 enzyme on the scalp, by removing that helped promote angiogenesis, development of new blood vessels around the scalp. So I don't think like taking it orally will help, but if you can like somehow compound it into a topical solution, that could help. And, you know, I actually have a chemist friend who I may talk to about compounding a topical solution similar to the studies that I found, that I referenced in my video about Viagra being good for hair loss, which was the last video I made. And there's a 0.1% solution and 1% solution, but I think just the 0.1% solution would be good enough because it was shown that the dose, it wasn't really dose dependent, so 0.1 worked as well as 1%. So you probably wouldn't need that much. And I remember like some people even said, oh, maybe I should like try grinding it up and like putting it on my scalp. I mean, I'd still say talk to your doctor before doing that, especially if you're on things like nitrates or like, you know, ACE inhibitors, blood pressure medications, because that could be dangerous and there could be some systemic absorption. So you could have a raging boner throughout the day, even if you don't want one. And I will also say that like Levitra, which is known as vardenafil, that one is very strong, and I'll admit, used it recreationally because, you know, it's I mean, like I have no trouble getting it up, of course, but I feel that like those drugs really shorten your refractory period. But Levitra is too strong. Do not take that unless you really have erectile dysfunction for whatever reason, because like it gave me such a nonstop boner, like I couldn't go outside, and eventually I had to take a bag of ice. It was actually not a bag of ice, it was a frozen bag of peas. I just had to place it on my genitals and just have it sit there until you know, it just shrunk down because of the cold. So it was like a pretty miserable experience. So it's the strongest one, although it doesn't last as long. Like Cialis is probably the weakest one, but it lasts the longest. It can last as long as like 2-3 days or so, especially if you're taking like 20 milligrams. So it's, but you know, none of them are necessary if you don't have erectile dysfunction. But recreationally speaking, if like you're gonna like go like 8 times a night or something, then, you know, maybe it'll help. Okay. And, you know, I have a girlfriend now, so I don't live that kind of lifestyle anymore. But anyways, okay. I'll answer that question in a bit. Let me go ahead and try to down a little bit more sushi though. So let's try this one. This is going to be really hard to eat. Just like one little piece is like almost impossible at this point. No, it's sad. It was like, I never want to eat sushi. I feel like I never want to eat sushi again. You know, I love this company and, you know, I still recommend people try it. Just don't order as much for yourself as I did. Oh man. Okay. All right. So, okay, let's answer this next question. What is your beef with Jason Blaha? Well, I'm a vegan, so I don't use the term beef, but I assume you mean problem. All right, I'll be honest. I don't really give a shit about Jason Blaha. I mean, Jason Blaha is just some asshole. And, you know, he got in trouble for committing stolen valor. He lied about his military service. And he also has no integrity. And that's why he dramatically changes his philosophy every couple of years or so. Like, on one, like, he used to be some, like, liberal hippie vegan. And then he went full-blown gun-toting fake mercenary Texan who's into the carnivore diet. Then he did this kind of a middle ground thing. And then he kind of went back and forth. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he changes his ideology again. So it's clear the guy doesn't have any convictions. And also, he's done some really questionable things. I mean, I mentioned the stolen valor thing, but the guy's also admitted to killing his dog. He's also known to, he also threatens a lot of people with physical violence when they just like take issue with some of the things he says. Like, for example, he threatened Layne Norton's wife when she was pregnant. And, I don't like Layne Norton that much, but I think that was a pretty dickhead thing to do. And, and he also, one thing that he did was really bad is that, like, he was talking about, like, what we should have done after the September 11th attacks. And, we know that there were Saudi nationals who hijacked the planes. And he thought the appropriate reaction would be to take every Saudi national living in the United States. It doesn't matter if they're like children or like, people serving important jobs in the United States. Every single Saudi national, no exceptions, we should have executed them all. So he's basically advocating for ethnic cleansing in the United States. So, that may have been an emotionally driven response or something, because he was just like thinking about September 11th that really pissed him off. So maybe he doesn't really feel that way. But I will say, though, that the Jason Blaha stuff I bring up, it's for levity mostly. I don't really have that much of a problem with the guy. He's never talked shit about me. It's just that he deserves a little bit of flack for some of the things he said, and he talks shit about a lot of other people. But I do think the Jason Blaha jokes have worn out their welcome a little bit, so I'll probably be dropping them at least for a good while. Doesn't mean I won't bring up anyone else and make some quips about other people, but I think I'm going to give Jason Blaha a break, at least for the foreseeable future, just because, it's kind of worn out its welcome a little bit, so, I'm not going to continue with that. All right, so let's continue eating. Let's see if I can handle any more. All right, let's take this disgusting thing right here. Oh, man. Shit. All right, let's try this. This is like the eggplant one. This one's a little bit easier to down. I'm not even going to touch these damn crab rolls right here. I have no chance of finishing it, but I feel like I'm at the point where I finished like 2/3 of it, or like, we have 2 empty boxes over here, so more than half, and like the other ones are at least partially depleted. This one's halfway depleted, so I think I've eaten more than half at least, and I think that's pretty good. I have at least like 5,000 calories right here. So let me go ahead and try to down this guy. Oh, God. Oh, man, that's disgusting. All right. Okay, guys. I hate to say it, but I think I'm done. Let me go ahead and finish my drink a little bit. But anyways, I wanted to do just a more laid back, relaxed video. It's very long. If you watched this entire video, then congratulations, that's awesome. But even if you didn't, I'm glad you contributed some of your time to this video. And I really, and again, I just want to say I really appreciate you guys for subscribing and watching my content. And even if there's going to be like intermittent periods where I don't upload, I will still try to get at least a couple uploads per week. And like I said, there's no shortage of things to talk about, so my content will always seem fresh. I'm always coming up with new ideas. And I like YouTube. Like I said, it's a hobby of mine. It's not a source of income. So this is driven by passion. This is a passion project. And, hopefully I can spruce up the quality of the videos as I learn more video editing skills. But, I'm 39 years old, so I come from like the generation that's where the internet was primitive, so I'm not as skilled as these Zoomers when it comes to things like video editing, so I still need to learn that stuff. But anyways, really appreciate what you guys do, and I'll be back with more content soon, but I really thank you guys for, there goes the can right there. I feel like absolute shit. If I eat any more, I'm going to go ahead and puke. But anyways, I appreciate you guys joining me for dinner, and I will see you guys again soon with more content. All right. You guys have a great weekend, okay?